Welcome back to another Gaming Memories video. Here we are looking at a racing game known as Advan Racing that was published by Atlas Software in 1998, and this game was actually only released and is only available in Japan. And it is actually based around the Japanese Touring Car Championship. If you've ever played the likes of the Toka Touring Car Championship, the Toka series on the PlayStation, this here would be quite familiar to it. But again, it focuses more on proper Japanese cars that are highly modified. Having actually played through this game here, and up until a while ago I didn't even know that this actual game actually existed. As I have mentioned in previous games, that there are a lot of unique games, and specifically racing games, they've never seen outside of Japan. We never actually got them either in America or in Europe. So it is very interesting to see the types of games that actually are available. You actually have access to a number of game modes like quick race, championship, time trial, head-to-head races and so forth. You actually have access to quite a few tracks, and they obviously have different variations, like you can race in reverse and so forth, and you unlock more features as and when you progress through the different championships in the main game. But one of the really cool features about this here is it has access to loads of different tiers of race cars, and you will recognise a lot of these cars because they're all from like licensed manufacturers like Toyota, Mazda, Subaru, Mitsubishi, and they have some of the real high-end cars. Like even here I'm driving an Alfa Romeo GTV, and I haven't actually played this game. Actually, the Alfa was one of the first games I actually jumped into because I am an Alfa Romeo fan myself, and for me it says, right, I give this a go and see how I get on. And it's actually really good. Like from the first impressions of the game, the graphics are actually very good compared to some other more arcadey style games. This is definitely a step up. This is actually very high end compared to a lot of racing games out there, but again, it does have an arcadey style feel, but it also is a little bit more on the realistic side as well. And you can see the graphics are actually very high res as well. There's a lot of like shine and kind of reflection of the likes of the models of the cars and so forth. So it's actually very, very good. And the graphics, and again, are very, very good. Like the car models, the detail as well on the tracks is actually very, very good. It's not to say that it's close to, say, Gran Turismo, but compared to a lot of other racing games out there, this here actually is one of the better looking racing games on the system. And I never would have actually been aware that this even existed. I actually found it just by chance as I was trying to browse through games to kind of like play. And like that's the whole point of this channel, is literally to showcase my memories and explore new games as well that I never got to play in those days, even games that I didn't even know existed, and just share these games with everyone so that people can be made more aware of them, and if it's something that they may want to play as well in the future. So actually, from playing this here, it is actually a really good game. It definitely is. The handling mechanics are actually really, really good. Like I said, the cars, there's a really, really good selection of cars, like say from Alfa Romeo to Nissan to Mazda, like I said. And there's loads of different types of cars, like you've Celica GT4s, you've Toyota Supras, Toyota Chasers, you even had Nissan S14 and S15 Silvias, like Alfa Romeo GTV, the Subaru Impreza WRX, the Lancer Evo 4, the Lancer Evo 3. There's actually a lot of high quality Japanese cars in this game. That's the one thing that kind of drew me to it straight away as well, because I grew up with this type of era with cars, and to actually have a lot of these type of cars in the game is fantastic as well. It's similar to the likes of Gran Turismo. That's where I would have actually known more about these type of cars, and how I was introduced to a lot of them was from those type of games. And this here game has actually got a massive selection of really cool cars. that's what I really thought. That's what kind of drew me in straight away. So again, like when I seen like the title of the game, I was like, what was this like? And then I decided to do a bit of research. I did a bit of googling and stuff like that, and I found it was racing. I was like, oh, this is actually interesting. So I actually tried to find out more about it. So then when I figured out how to get it and actually try and get to play it, I was like, yeah, I'm definitely going to give it a go and see how I get on. Again, there's loads of different options. As you can see here, you have different classes of cars. Each have their own variations and modifications to be a slight step up in terms of power and in terms of visual appeal. Like you see, you have extra body kits and to be power outputs. You have higher horsepower and torque. So again, that will coincide with the level of difficulty with the game as well. The game will become a little bit more difficult because your opponents will be harder to beat as well throughout the races. But again, that just adds to the challenge of these type of games. And as you can see here, you have different variations of the track, and you can race in different weather settings and change the laps and so forth. At the minute now, I'm just doing quick races just for this video. But again, you can do full-on championships and everything. So you can do like whole upgrade system where you can unlock more features, unlock more cars. Like, because there is even hidden cars in the game as well that you unlock the more you play it as well. So there's definitely a lot to keep you playing. And if you're into your car games at all, it's definitely one to look into. Because as I mentioned before, the PlayStation actually has so many unique games and awesome games, and it actually has a lot of hidden gems. I played quite a few of them, but there's also a lot that I haven't played, and it's great to actually be able to get to experience them, and this here is actually one of them in my opinion, because like I said, I never would have been aware of this game. I didn't even know it existed up until a while ago, which is fantastic. Like, so to be able to revisit the console and actually try out all these other games that I never even knew is great. And I highly recommend that anybody, if you're a fan of the PlayStation out there, I highly recommend that you actually play these games and see what you think of them yourself, because this one here now, I have to say, is actually a really good racing game. And again, it has a certain level of challenge to it, but it is easy enough that it's simple enough for the average gamer or casual gamer to just pick up and play and just have a bit of fun with it. It's not overly difficult to get used to compared to some other games out there. This here, actually, you will actually get up to speed, and you won't feel overly frustrated with playing it. So you won't. It's actually genuinely a very good game. And overall, I just actually really like the style of the game and the graphics. I just think the graphics are actually really good. Compared to a lot of other racing games out there as well, graphically it is actually definitely one of the better racing games out there. One of the better looking ones anyway. So I highly recommend that you go and you check it out if you can. Again, as you can see here, I'm just choosing a couple of different cars. I've just done a couple of different races, and I wanted to try some of the cars because I wanted to see the difference in terms of the handling and how they actually feel, and even the sounds of the cars. And the one thing I've noticed as well is that the sound of the cars, they do sound fairly different compared to each other. They don't always sound the same, which actually I think is actually brilliant, and it does add that little bit of extra depth to the game as well. That you're not listening to the same kind of sounds over and over again. That each car has its own unique appeal, which is what you want from games like this, especially with games like this where you're going to put a lot of time and effort into completing. You can also change different like physics settings and certain features on the cars as you're racing as well. You can actually opt in to have like fuel consumption, even tyre wear and that, and you can actually notice the difference in how prevalent it is as each race goes on, the longer the laps go. So it definitely has an effect on your play style and how you're driving the cars. It'd be very similar to the likes of if you played the endurance type races in the Gran Turismo series as well, that you do need to make strategic kind of choices depending on your fuel and your tyres and when you're deciding to pit in as well. So this here does have that element to it as well, which is really cool. And it just adds to the playability of the game as well. I have to say now, I actually really enjoyed playing this here as well. I have to say it actually is a really enjoyable racing game. And I highly recommend that anyone out there that's looking, even just to get involved with playing these type of games in general, definitely give this game a look and see as well, and see what you think of it. Because this here, for me, definitely is a hidden gem. It's actually a very good racing game. And like again, there's a lot more games like this here that I want to explore, because I know that there is other games out there that are equally as good as well, that I never would have played or let alone have actually seen during the lifespan of the PlayStation. So it's definitely a way to go, and definitely recommend to have a look into. So that's it for this video of Advan Racing. Have you actually played it? And what are your thoughts? What are your experiences of playing this game, or did you even know that it existed? Let me know down in the comments and share your thoughts as well, because I'd love to know, because again, games like these are unique and not everybody knows about these type of games, so it is definitely worthwhile exploring and talking about them a lot more. So again, if you've enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like on the video, and also hit that subscribe button and hit the bell icon to be updated on future videos, and you'll be notified when I release another video. And again, until next time, make sure to keep exploring and playing these classic games, and make sure to keep those gaming memories alive.